Welcome to the documentary video of the Mander shopping centre in Wolverhampton. This is the main shopping centre in the centre of Wolverhampton and is accessed by foot, car and public transport. The shopping centre is adjacent to the department store chain BHS that is owned by House of Fraser and has been in the town for a very long time. Well, best to be now known as the City. This shopping centre was built by the Mander brothers. It has 2 shopping levels and a rooftop car park. The shopping levels tend to be called in letters. S level is square level. G level, which should be ground floor below, is gallery level. And the R level means roof level. This shopping centre used to have 2 glass lifts, but during the refurbishment work, the glass lifts were removed so people could see from one side to the other. During this documentary video, most of the photos are not taken by me. However, I have put tags in to say, not my photo. Anyway, this photo is mine. So here's the first shop. This opened as Owen Owen's department store and was one of the main department stores to be seen in the city centre beside Littlewoods. This shopping centre used to have so many good department stores, and however they have closed because the company's entered administration and the amount of footfall. So anyway, Owen Owen's was the main anchor store in the Mander Centre, Wolverhampton. It later changed to TJ Hughes and was another Liverpool-based chain of discount department stores. Then suddenly in 2011 TJ Hughes went into administration and closed the Wolverhampton branch and was then taken over by Home Living, which only lasted a few years, and then in 2017 this site was replaced by Debenhams, as you can see in this photo. But however, Debenhams only lasted 18 months and then was announced in 2019 that it was going to close down. And now Debenhams is going to be replaced by Fraser's, owned by House of Fraser, which is owned by the famous owner of Sports Direct, Mike Ashley. And of course, it's going to be a concept department store, including House of Fraser, Sports Direct, USC and flannels. Here is the next shop. Now, this one is an independent shop, which is a men's clothing chain called Nickelman. Now, Nickelman is one of the popular men's clothing stores in Wolverhampton's Mander Centre and has moved around quite a few times. The first unit was located facing the Mander Square. Then it later moved into the Victoria Arcade next to the lift that goes up to Matalan, which used to be New Look. Then later it moved next door to Bon Marché, and I will show you the unit later on in the video, but however that photo will be stated not my photo. And now Nickelman has now moved upstairs next door to H. Samuel on the upper level, as there is more footfall on the upper level rather than being on the lower level. This unit used to be London Menswear, and now Nickelman have taken over the unit and they've been up here ever since and have recently changed the logo. It used to be black and white, but now it's black and blue. So anyway, here is Nickelman, that is located on the upper floor. Very nice independent local menswear store in Wolverhampton. One of the best ones to be seen within the Mander shopping centre. The next anchor store we come to in the Mander Centre used to be known as BHS. BHS was one of the best known department stores up and down the country, even in Wolverhampton. Especially BHS had an upper floor which housed the restaurant below the 2 shopping levels. The restaurant was located on one, and then the 2 shopping levels were ground and lower ground floor. The lower ground floor was the access to the lower level of the Mander shopping centre, while the upper level, which was the ground floor, accessed the upper mall of the Mander shopping centre and also a back entrance onto Dudley Street, which is the main high street in Wolverhampton. This BHS used to have some really nice Otis escalators and even some old Otis lifts, But sadly, BHS in Wolverhampton went into administration and closed down. This also followed with all the BHS stores nationwide, as BHS failed to be turned round by the owners who had the company since Sir Philip Green quit BHS and he sold it for £1 in 2015 to retail acquisitions. But however, retail acquisitions could not continue to sustain the store, so the store was no longer viable to trade. It's such a shame because BHS was one of the best known department stores, and sadly even the store closed. The Otis escalators and the Otis lifts have now been vanished. The shop is now converted into 2 units. B&M is on the upper level and Wilko is on the lower ground floor. Wilko has the same access to what Woolworths used to do next door. And of course Wilko has an Otis Gen 2 lift that goes between the shopping level on the lower ground floor and to the ground floor, which is known as upper ground floor, to access onto Dudley Street. And now here is a photo that does not belong to me. This unit here used to be Woolworths, and Woolworths was one of the best stores in Wolverhampton. I used to love going into Woolworths when it was open in Wolverhampton, but sadly in 2008 Woolworths went into administration and the Woolworths in Wolverhampton closed its stores for the final time, meaning it was a big loss to the city centre, especially to fans who really loved Woolworths. To be honest, I really loved Woolworths in Wolverhampton. And Woolworths then later became Discount UK, which only lasted a few years, and the shop is now H&M. And Woolworths used to have the access at the back onto Dudley Street, but however the staircase has now gone, so there's only an access into the Mander Centre. And now to what used to be the Pound World. Now, as you remembered, Pound World went into administration back in 2018. And Pound World is now branded as One Below, along with the Merryhill Shopping Centre store. And One Below is still in a very good Pound World condition and still selling the same bargains from what Poundland used to sell. Pound World, sorry, because Poundland's a different company. Because Pound World was actually in competition with Poundland. And One Below still sells the same bargains that you'd find in Pound World and even in Poundland. Of course, this shop is quite bigger compared to the one at Merryhill. I think this unit years ago used to be a Kodak, which was like a battery company that used to take over. I'm not sure, comment below. But however, most of these photos are not taken by me because I didn't have the chance to take photos, because obviously the centre might not appreciate people taking photographs without asking permission to do so, because you know it's copyright these days and security are very strict. So this photo is not mine. As you can see, there's the One Below entrance into the store. The tills are just right on the other side of the store. It's one of the best known pound stores to be seen in Wolverhampton. The next store we come to in the centre was Bon Marche. Now, as you remembered, Bon Marche went into administration at the start of the year, just before the COVID-19 pandemic. And most of the Bon Marche stores have closed down because the companies have entered administration. The Merryhill one is shut, but still got the products inside, so they might be stripping them out. And I believe this one has also closed too. I wonder what could replace this store. Maybe a Superdry. That might stuff the place, but apparently you'll need to make it into a bigger store, maybe a JD or Scott's, or maybe turn this area into a food court. That would make a lot of money, because not many people go shopping down here anymore. There's only odd people that go through this part these days. The next store we come to in the Mander Centre, which is located next door to Bon Marche, used to be children's clothing chain Adams Kids. And Adams Kids were based in Nuneaton, and they operated stores across the UK, especially the West Midlands, in areas like Stourbridge, Merryhill Shopping Centre, Kidderminster, Worcester, Cannock, Warsaw, West Bromwich, Smethwick, and even here in Wolverhampton's Mander Centre. Now, I wasn't keen on the original design of the shops because the lighting looked really uninspiring, like with that steel frame that was attached to it. And when they refurbished most of the shops, they made them a lot brighter, except they didn't refurbish the Stourbridge or this one. Later, in 2007, most of the stores closed down. That meant the Kidderminster store closed down, and I think the Stafford one closed down as well. And then 2008, the whole chain went into administration, and then the stores closed down for the final time, meaning this unit was empty for quite a few years, and then it became a bed shop called Sleep, which was an independent shop, but sadly they closed down because they could not afford the rent to maintain the shop. Later it became a boutique shop, Kiss, but that didn't last long. Then it became Blink Beauty, which was a cosmetic shop, but then they moved because the rent was too high. And then it was taken over by menswear chain Nickelman, like I mentioned in my photo that I have taken in the centre. And then Nickelman moved upstairs to the present day unit, and then this became a pop-up shop, Halloween House, last year, 2019. But however, this year, 2020, there is no Halloween House in this centre because of the coronavirus pandemic and all this social distancing madness that is going on. So this unit has remained vacant ever since 2019. Now, I think maybe they should knock this shop into Balmarsha, maybe put a Super Dry or maybe a JD Sports with a full refurbishment, because the lighting looks really ugly. I'm not a big fan of this unit at all in the centre. Never a fan of this unit. Thanks for watching, everyone. Tour of this Mander Centre here in Wolverhampton. To finish off the video, I have produced you a tour of the centre when it was dead early in the morning back in 2018, when it was the good days where there was no social distancing and no coronavirus pandemic. And I was showing you the lower level with all the shops. And I will give you another dead mail tour of this shopping centre, but not including the Victoria Arcade, because that's where the old Adams Kids unit used to be, because, like I said, I'm not a big fan of the unit. So anyway, let's head straight to the tour of the centre back in 2018. This is the Mander Centre in Wolverhampton. You can read there, that there used to be where Woolworths was. Playing is Aerosmith, I'll tell them in a second. Here's where Mother Care used to be. Camera shutting. BHS been shut there for nearly 2 years. One marsh right there. There's Nickelman just right there, that used to be Adam's Kids. Really updated school. Let's go up. Nick Culliman as a nickname. There we go. Let's go upstairs. Let's go up to the gates. Home living just right there. Devlin's just right on that side. In that middle section there used to be where the glass lifts were, but not anymore because they were moved for a shopping centre's refurbishment. There's shoes on.